Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the charts for Vechain, taking a look at what has been going on most recently and what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. And if you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down into the charts here for Vechain and see what's going on. As you can see, we're just paired up with USDT, and this is our weekly chart. And on this weekly chart, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the macro kind of views here with what is going on. So essentially, we had a really good run over here, right? This is basically from the lows of March 2020 all the way through to the highs that we had back in April of 2021. Essentially, what you have here is an ABC move coming up, and there's nothing overly special about it other than the fact that we failed to hit our 1.618 target to be classified as an impulsive move up. Okay, we then started to see this ABC correction here. Again, nothing overly special about it. We saw a pretty good A wave down, we saw a pretty good B wave up, and we saw a pretty good C wave come down afterwards. Now that's complete, we can start to track ourselves back up again. Again, confirmation of what's going on here is by going higher than our A wave, but ideally what we want to do is to get solid confirmation, we want to go higher than the B wave. But essentially it does look like the lows are behind us, and there's no reason necessarily to come back down lower than our C wave here. So for the most part, we're actually doing pretty well. Now our weekly chart has got an overbought stochastic RSI, so we are a little bit cautious that there's going to be some kind of big correction due at some point here in the near future for Vechain. So we are going to be understanding that there's going to be some kind of probably 50% pullback at some point that's going to be presenting itself with a fantastic opportunity before we actually continue the surge back up again. Now, the other thing to note is on the daily chart, this little area where we are right now has gone impulsive. Okay, and when we look at good structure on the macro chart here, there's 5 waves, and those 5 waves would actually just be a wave 1 inside this weekly chart. Okay, we would expect this correction of about 50% to be consisting of 3 waves, and that would be a wave 2 on this weekly chart. Okay, then from there we have another 5 waves up, and that would be our wave 3 on this weekly chart, followed by another 4th wave down, which would be on our daily chart. Sorry, let me actually get that the right way around. There'll be another 3 waves down, which will be the 4th wave, okay, on our weekly chart. So it'll be consisting of another ABC. But sometimes one of these 2 moves will be complex in their nature, okay? One of them will be simple, one of them will be complex. Then we'll go into the final 5th wave, which will again consist of 5 waves. And essentially what we're looking at here is the very beginning, right? We are effectively on our wave 1. With these 5 waves. So there's a long journey to be had here with Vechain. It's not going to be quick, and this is definitely not a get rich quick kind of market or anything like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that is absolutely insane. I don't think this is going to happen, but if we were to use a trend-based Fibonacci retracement tool with its extensions, or I think they actually call this, what do they call it these days? Trend-based fib extension. What this allows you to do is kind of predict out what might happen based on what's happened so far, right? Now this is insane. I don't think this is actually going to be something that we should be expecting, but I want to kind of put it out there on these numbers. Okay, so based on the low point of where we were back in March 2020 down here, and based on the high point that we were in at April of 2021, and the low point that we've recently achieved, we take all 3 of those into consideration for the trends. Okay, our low, our high, and our secondary low. What we have here is a trend-based fib. Now, this trend-based fib allows us to kind of see some absolutely bonkers numbers. Okay, and if we were to look for a 1-to-1 ratio here on this, it would indicate $7 for Vechain. Now, that is not something that I would be expecting to happen in this particular cycle, but I do think it's quite an interesting one to kind of show you the momentum behind the price action here. A really good run, right, where we saw 17,915% in just over 1 year. Now, we are talking about maybe moving up Vechain towards this area of about 96 cents to $1, maybe a little bit more than $1, but nothing too crazy. And I think that's about, or from this low point was a 2,500%, which is actually, pretty achievable. Now, running from our actual low point in the entire bull run, or where it started, that would represent about 146%. Actually, no, let me pull it down here. That would represent about 64,500%, right? So some pretty interesting kind of gains to be had here, but I don't think the trend-based fib is our friend in this scenario. Instead, I want to kind of just really point out that if we were to come up towards our 1.618, we are talking about $1 here, and again, that would be an area that I would be targeting on this next leg of the bull run. And if this is, like I say, on this weekly chart, just wave 1 here, and we finish this up nice and strongly, our wave 2 will come down about 50% or so. Then we'll have a really strong wave 3. Hopefully a nice wave 4, wave 5, and I really can see us hitting that $1 level pretty comfortably. And again, you take a look at this structure, it's not too dissimilar to the structures that we've had previously either. So this should be pretty comfortable for Vechain to do. Now, essentially, I know what people are going to say, market cap is going to be, just too high, you can't have a market cap that high, etc. But I challenge you to understand what market cap actually is, because it doesn't represent money going into a project, and it doesn't represent the value of a project. It just represents the current price of a project. It's basically a very simple calculation that is the last sold price multiplied by the circulating supply. It does not represent the amount of money going in. Only two things matter, and I speak about this all the time. Two things matter when it comes to price discovery: supply and demand. Okay, so if we can get the supply under control and we can bring enough demand, which I think will come with a very significant amount of FOMO at this particular point, as gains start to just roll in. I mean, you've seen what 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 did. I think essentially what you're going to do is you're going to start seeing a squeeze on the supply naturally through the FOMO, but also through the process of what Vechain is doing and what everything that Vechain is about. So essentially, I think, yeah, $1 is incredibly comfortable. Anything above and beyond that is is a fantastic bonus, but I don't think is probable. But I would love to be wrong on that, essentially. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of start off this video by showing that macro view, in understanding what I'm expecting to go into, right? So as we come down into our daily chart here, you can see that we're in this fourth wave correction. It's been working really well. We're almost oversold right now. So right now we are getting prepared for this final fifth wave upwards for Vechain. We've got a rough target on this, but it does depend on how low we actually end up going with Vechain here. So if I just take the current low point that we've had and I grab another rectangular box here, what I can do is actually just show you that we'll be looking at approximately this area just here, and I'll just put that right in the middle of it. It's between 9.4 and 10.3. That would be the approximate area that I would expect Vechain to go to, and from the low point that we've had up to there, you'll be talking, anywhere between 33 and 45% for Vechain before we start to see that bigger pullback, which I would have thought would be pretty significant. We are talking probably about 50% or so. Right in here somewhere, and it's going to be 50% of this move. So the correct way to do this would be actually to take a Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom of wave 1 all the way up to wherever wave 5 high ends. So I'm just going to put it on the 1.618 here, and it basically would illustrate that we would come down to approximately this area of about the 5.6 cent range. Okay, so some pretty decent gains are going to be made on this next leg up, and some fantastic opportunities to accumulate again as we pull back down into what might be a second wave correction based on the structure that we've seen so far for Vechain. So overall, everything's looking very, very good for VET. I have absolutely zero concerns about it, and I am looking forward to seeing what happens next, guys. If you found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.